return to Oldtown. The High Towers still have strength, and you have a son there who'll take more kindly to instruction. Daeron may yet help us in weeks to come.
You hear that? It only took about 15 years worth of storytelling to mention a Targaryen prince, and a dragon rider at that exists. I really do believe there was a 50-50 chance this important character was going to be cut from the prequel. With Daeron, we have a reason to follow Otto Hightower to his home kingdom down south, when being thrown from Kor could have been the last we saw of him. Winning over the Reach isn't going to be as straightforward as the Greens may believe. Otto Hightower was very well aware after witnessing some needless murders, but now he's kicked out of the Red Keep after coming at his grandson a little harder than he could handle. Killing Lord Beesbury was cruel and completely unnecessary. He wasn't only a lord, but a man who served the small council as master of coin for decades. His family and their subjects would look up to him as their family jewel, possibly the most celebrated man in their family's history. And there's others like Lord Caswell as well, who also hail from the Reach. Lord Hobart Hightower seems to have recently died, and now it's up to his eldest son to run things in Oldtown. Hobart started all this mess, and Otto risked the lives of half the realm to make the Greens a little more powerful. Now Otto will be marching back to the Reach, while the new Lord Aemond Hightower is amassing an army, and Daeron's presence in this kingdom alongside his dragon Tessarion will be invaluable for the Greens. The most populous kingdom with a deep culture of knighthood is what you can expect out of the Reach. The concept of knights was made here after all, and just like the Stormlanders, they've been busy fighting the Dornish for millennia. So while things have been peaceful in the past few decades, areas near the Dornish border are raised differently. The Reach is the pretty flowery region in Westeros. That's why the population is so high, compared to somewhere else like the north that has much more land. It's just a higher quality of life. But all the roses and chivalry hide some of the toughest guys around. I'm not confident any of this will be shown in House of the Dragon if we go to the Reach in Season 2. Things are being rushed and cut left, right, and center, unfortunately. Cregan Stark in the north was hyped up to all hell and all the promotional stuff, just to have those 2 lines of exposition. Daeron was in none of the trailers. You can imagine what that means. The writers are only focused on Aegon and Aemond for the green side, character-wise. In the books, little brother Prince Daeron was the most popular of the Queen's sons, as clever as he was courteous, and most comely as well. When he turned 12 in 126 AC, Daeron was sent to Oldtown to serve as cupbearer and squire to Lord Hightower. Aegon and Aemond were never described as being loved at Kor, even after sentiment towards Rhaenyra changed after she had plain-looking bastard boys. The lords and others with power in King's Landing began to have a green bias, but the older brothers didn't inspire love. That was the younger Daeron. Queen Alicent went into labor with her last child just after Jacaerys Valerion was born, delivering Viserys his 3rd son. Daeron, whose coloring, unlike that of Jace, testified to his dragon blood. By royal command, the infants, Jacaerys and Daeron Targaryen, shared a wet nurse until weaned. It was said that the king hoped to prevent any enmity between the 2 boys by raising them as milk brothers. If so, his hopes proved to be sadly forlorn. The enmity between Queen Alicent and Princess Rhaenyra was passed on to her sons, and the queen's 3 boys. The princes Aegon, Aemond, and Daeron grew to be bitter rivals of their Valyrian nephews, resentful of them for having stolen what they regarded as their birthright, the Iron Throne itself. Though all 6 boys attended the same feasts, balls, revels, and sometimes trained together in the yard under the same master-at-arms and studied under the same maesters, this enforced closeness only served to feed their mutual dislike, rather than binding them together as brothers. There really is no way for House of the Dragon's writers to explain Daeron's absence when they were supposed to be all raised together. Maybe they'll say he was sent to be a ward for Lord Hightower when he was, 5? But it just wouldn't make much sense. Targaryens didn't need to strengthen ties with House Hightower. The Hightowers got a marriage with the king already. Being sent at age 10 made more sense, because then he could squire for a knight in the Reach. Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon were sent to live in the Vale to be Lord Jon Arryn's wards because there was a reason for a beneficial alliance. That's just not the case with the Hightowers. High chance we won't get an explanation at all, and casual viewers will just have to live with being confused. Result of not planning ahead. At least, it's kind of funny, and we could get a cool looking dragon out of it, I guess. Daeron's bonded partner appears to have been given to him as a dragon egg in the cradle, hatched when he was a baby to make for an easier bonding experience. Viserys didn't bother with this for Aemond and Helaena. There could have been a lack of eggs in King's Landing's dragon pit, but I think Viserys just stopped caring after Aegon was born. He got the son he always wanted, and can rest easy knowing Rhaenyra wasn't the one and only heir if anything were to happen to her. Prince Aegon Targaryen was 13, Princess Helaena 11, Prince Aemond 10, and Prince Daeron 6. Both Aegon and Helaena were dragon riders. Helaena now flew Dreamfire, whilst her brother, Aegon's young Sunfire, was said to be the most beautiful dragon ever seen upon the earth. Even Prince Daeron had a dragon, a lovely blue she-dragon named Tessarion, that we had yet to ride. Only the middle son, Aemond, remained dragonless. Bonding with a dragon, but not a rider. This always means the egg was placed in the cradle when it comes to Targaryen lore. Somewhere between age 6 and 15, Daeron did become a dragon rider. Just because Tessarion is 15 or so, don't expect it to be anywhere near the size of Dany's dragons. Game of Thrones went a little nuts, making those 3 dragons grow exponentially like that. Expect Tessarion to be the same size as Jacaerys or Lucerys' bonded beasts. Still a youngling in the eyes of the big girls like Vhagar and Dreamfire. Team Black didn't concern themselves too much about Tessarion, Dreamfire, and Sunfire. It was all Vhagar that kept them up at night, the largest and most battle-experienced dragon. Plus, Aemond was personally trained by Kingsguard member Criston Cole. Daeron atop Tessarion, who got the nickname of the Blue Queen for her wings dark as cobalt, and her claws and crest and belly scales as bright as being copper, will be the surprise factor. Helaena is and always has been out of commission. The books also describe Tessarion's fire as a burst of cobalt flame, but I think all the unique coloration has been scrapped. Don't blame the special effects department for that decision though. Kind of over-the-top use of their time, as cool as it is. Their time is better used elsewhere, especially for a TV show and not a film. Daeron could be a breath of fresh air on the Green's faction of the Civil War. A family member, Otto, is looking forward to puppeteering, since Alicent's 3 other children are viewed as uncontrollable lost causes to the former Hand of the King. Lord Ormond's squire is gentle and soft-spoken. Kind of resembles his father, King Viserys, who Otto Hightower is missing more than he ever thought. There's no reversing the violent route kicked off by Aemond and continued by Aegon. An interesting direction the show could be heading is Otto planning to crown Daeron after removing Aegon and Aemond. But with their need of dragon riders, he would have to wait until after the Greens can win this deadly war. Otto is patient and cautious, but again, unfortunately, it was never in the writer's plan to expand upon the lore. Daeron having some lines here and there in the prequel is being more realistic. A Targaryen Otto will cling to, knowing Aegon will never have him at court after their heated falling out. Up until episode 2 of season 2, I had no idea he even existed in this world. Daeron's always been in the official website's family tree, while others who were cut did not appear, but we still needed that confirmation. And Daeron has not been cast, so his age could very well be changed to being younger than Jacaerys Velaryon to excuse for his inaction and no-shows. It sucks, but obviously very little attention has been given to this character. The most we can hope for in the second season is Otto making it back to Oldtown, asking to see his grandson, and then never hear from them until season 3 or 4. The 5th and last child of King Viserys, third-born son of Alicent, right behind Aemond in the Green's line of succession, and no wife or betrothed. Using him as a bargaining chip for alliances through a marriage is fair play. Though the Tyrells, who if you remember ruled over the Hightowers in the Reach, only have an infant son, and he's a lord with an overprotective regent mother. The only powerful lords in the Reach the Greens can count on is House Florent. Queen Alicent is half Florent through her mother. She's been dead a long while now, and only mentioned a couple of times, but blood ties that strong are usually a sure thing, especially when they'll be mutually benefiting from a Green King, just like the Hightowers. But there's a bunch of families in the Reach as powerful as the Florents, like the Redwynes or Oakhearts, that Daeron will be used to impress. Let's see what they do with this character. Can't be worse than Cregan Stark, right? Or Lena Valerion? Or Harwin Strong? Wait, oh no.